Once upon a time, in the heart of Nigeria's seat of power, the bustling and majestic metropolis of Abuja, there lived a man named Philip. He was not merely a man of means, he was an institution, a living proof of the rewards of relentless industry and inherited wisdom. Philip was a hard-working man, a titan of industry who had absorbed the intricate, often treacherous mechanics of international trade and business conglomeration at the feet of his father. His father, a patriarch of the old guard, had taught him everything there was to know about the corporate world: how to shake a hand so that the other party knew you were in charge, how to read a balance sheet like a map of war, and how to spot a lie in a boardroom filled with smiling faces. Because of this rigorous tutelage, Philip's family was not just wealthy, they were a dynasty, well known and deeply respected throughout the Federal Capital Territory. From the manicured streets of Maitama to the busy markets of Garki, the mention of their surname commanded silence and respect. They had diversified their vast fortune, investing in various industries ranging from construction to telecommunications and holding prime real estate that dotted the city's skyline. Yet their pride and joy remained their agricultural roots. They owned vast commercial cattle ranches that stretched across the savannah, supplying the finest beef to the nation. This connection to the land grounded them, even as they soared in high society. They were also one of the very few families in the entire country who owned a private stable of polo horses within the city limits. On weekends, Philip could be seen at the Guards Polo Club, galloping across the green turf, a symbol of their elite status and unassailable success. Philip grew up in this cocoon of privilege, enveloped in the warmth of a well-loved and close-knit family. He was a man who seemed to have it all. As the years passed, he lost his father, and the mantle of leadership settled firmly on his shoulders. Philip expanded the family empire with a vigor that surprised even his late father's contemporaries. He ventured into the importation of luxury textiles, sourcing the finest silks and damasks from Asia and Europe to clothe the wives of senators and oil tycoons. He brought in heavy industrial machinery to power the nation's factories, and perhaps most lucratively, he secured exclusive contracts for Western pharmaceuticals, supplying major teaching hospitals and retail chains across West Africa. His business trips were legendary odysseys. They took him to the foggy streets of London, the vibrant markets of Dubai, and the manufacturing hubs of Guangzhou. These ventures often kept him away from his sprawling Maitama mansion for weeks, sometimes months at a time. The mansion, a white architectural marvel with Corinthian columns and gold-leaf gates, often stood silent, waiting for its master. Philip was, without a doubt, the most eligible bachelor in the city. He was the prize every mother wanted for her daughter, and every daughter secretly fantasized about. He was loved not just for his billions, but for his reputation as a gentleman, a rarity in the cutthroat world of Abuja dating. In the high-end cafes, where the air conditioning hummed quietly, and the scent of expensive Arabica coffee mingled with the designer perfumes, the ladies of the social set often gathered. They sat in their oversized sunglasses and flowing chiffon dresses, dissecting the lives of the city's elite. Their favorite topic, inevitably, was Philip. "I want to marry a man, a kind and brave man like Philip," Evelyn said one breezy afternoon, her eyes drifting toward the window as if she could conjure him up. "A man who will take good care of me, who understands the value of a woman beyond her looks." She laughed, a sound like wind chimes, dreaming aloud with her friends. Evelyn was a woman of quiet grace, not the loudest in the room, but perhaps the deepest. She had harbored deep, unspoken feelings for Philip since they were teenagers. Whenever she saw him at social gatherings or charity galas, a flush would rise to her cheeks, and she would struggle to maintain her composure. Among this circle of ladies sat a stunningly beautiful girl named Nicole. Nicole and Evelyn were the best of friends, a contrast in temperaments. Where Evelyn was warm and open, Nicole was cool and enigmatic. While the other ladies giggled and listed the qualities they desired in a husband, Nicole sat quietly, sipping her iced tea, a small, unreadable smile playing on her lips. Nicole didn't care much for the concept of romantic love or the drudgery of serious relationships. To her, men were stepping stones, and marriage was a transaction. However, she was possessed of a beauty so arresting that it stopped traffic. Her skin was like polished mahogany, her eyes large and expressive, and her figure was the subject of envy throughout the city. Her beauty had eventually, and inevitably, captured Philip's heart. One of the ladies turned to Nicole, breaking her reverie. "Why are you so quiet, Nicole? Don't you dream of marrying a billionaire like Philip? Imagine the life, the travel, the clothes, the power." Nicole shrugged, a gesture of practiced indifference, and gave a small smile. "I don't think about it much," she replied, her voice smooth like velvet. "If it happens, it happens." Another lady leaned in closer, her voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. "But don't you see how all the men look at you, especially Philip? At the governor's ball last week, he couldn't keep his eyes off you. He only has eyes for you, Nicole. You have him wrapped around your finger and you haven't even tried." These words pierced Evelyn's heart like a cold dagger. She knew it was true. Since childhood she had been friends with Philip, hovering in his orbit, doing everything to make him notice her as a woman and not just a childhood companion. She would go to his mother's estate on weekends to help with the cooking or organizing charity drives, hoping he would see her devotion. But he only saw a sister, a friend. Evelyn sighed, looking down at her hands to hide the sadness pooling in her eyes. "Philip is a great man," Evelyn said quietly, forcing a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Whoever he chooses will be very lucky." Nicole looked at Evelyn, her sharp eyes noticing the pain in her friend's expression. For a moment, a flicker of something, perhaps pity, perhaps triumph, crossed her face. "Evelyn, you are kind and caring," Nicole said, reaching out to pat her hand. "Any man would be lucky to have you. You are the wife material men say they want." But Evelyn just nodded, her heart heavy with the knowledge that men like Philip rarely chose wife material over blinding beauty. Meanwhile, Philip was a man possessed. He was making plans with the precision of a military campaign. He was hell-bent on winning Nicole's heart, no matter the cost. He saw her as the final piece of his puzzle, the beautiful queen to rule his empire beside him. Later that week, Philip, accompanied by his childhood friend Victor, approached Nicole's family home in the exclusive district of Asokoro. Victor was Philip's shadow, a man who had ridden Philip's coattails for years. Where Philip was tall and confident, Victor was shorter, stockier, and possessed a shifting gaze that hinted at a deep-seated insecurity. Philip brought expensive gifts, boxes of Swiss lace, jewelry from Dubai, and bottles of vintage wine, and spoke with Nicole's parents, expressing his wish to marry their daughter. The proposal was formal, traditional, and dripping with wealth. The news spread quickly through the city blogs and social circles. "The Prince of Abuja is off the market!" the headlines screamed. The ladies of the city burst with excitement and envy. "Philip wants to marry you?" one of them asked Nicole the next day at the salon. Nicole's eyes widened in feigned surprise, though she had expected this outcome. She remained calm, checking her manicure. "Let's see what happens," she said softly. "It is in God's hands." However, the path to the altar was not smooth. Before Philip could finalize the marriage rites, a scandalous rumor began to snake its way through the Abuja social scene. It started as whispers at cocktail parties and exploded into open gossip. Nicole was pregnant. When Philip's mother, a formidable matriarch who could spot a flaw in a diamond from across a room, heard the news, she hurried to his mansion. She found him in his study with Victor, discussing logistics for the wedding. "Philip," she cried, bypassing pleasantries, "the whole city is buzzing with the news of Nicole's pregnancy. Are you responsible for her condition? Tell me the truth, my son." Her face was etched with worry. In their circle, legitimacy and reputation were everything. "No, mother," Philip replied firmly, standing up to greet her. "People are just jealous of Nicole. They can't stand to see her happy. I have never touched Nicole in that way. We have been chaste." His mother was not convinced. She paced the room, her wrapper swishing around her ankles. "You should pause the marriage and get to know Nicole better. There may be things you do not know. A woman does not just get accused of pregnancy without a spark of fire somewhere. Smoke does not rise without fire, Philip." Philip sighed, trying to stay calm but feeling his patience fraying. "Mother, you know Nicole. She grew up in this city in front of you. You've seen her become the wonderful woman she is today. I am due to travel to Europe to sign a major pharmaceutical deal in a few weeks, and I want to finalize the marriage before I leave. I love Nicole deeply and do not want to delay. I want to come home to a wife." Seeing Philip's stubbornness, his mother turned to Victor, who was sipping a drink in the corner. "Victor, my son, can you talk some sense into your friend? You are his eyes when he is blind with love." Victor nodded, looking serious and concerned. "Mama, I have already warned Philip. I told him to investigate, but he doesn't want to listen to me. He is too in love." His mother shook her head, tears threatening to spill. "Love can blind us to the truth, my son. Please take some time to make sure. Do not rush into a fire you cannot quench." Philip crossed his arms, his jaw set in a line of determination. "I understand your concerns, but my mind is made up. I will marry Nicole. I trust her." As night fell, Nicole went to see Philip. She found him waiting for her on the balcony, looking out at the city lights. His expression was full of concern. "Philip, I heard the rumors," she began, walking towards him. "They are not true. I am not pregnant. They are trying to ruin me because you chose me." Her voice was steady, but her eyes were pleading for understanding, shimmering with unshed tears. Philip reached out and took her hand, pulling her close. "I believe you, Nicole. I knew they were just jealous. I still want to marry you no matter what they say. Your past is your past, but your future is with me." Nicole smiled, feeling a wave of relief wash over her. "Thank you, Philip. Your trust means everything to me." They stood together on the balcony under the moonlight, talking and laughing, planning a future that seemed bright. But as they prepared for their wedding, the rumors continued to whisper like dry leaves in the wind, and the tension grew. On the eve of the wedding, Evelyn sat in her room and cried her eyes out. She loved Philip deeply, with a pure, unselfish love. But she knew he loved her friend. She felt like she was losing two people at once. Despite her sadness, Evelyn decided to attend the wedding. She would smile for Philip, even if it broke her heart. The morning of the wedding was bright and cheerful, the sun shining as if blessing the union. Philip, his friend Victor, and his extensive family went to Nicole's family home, singing traditional songs and carrying trunks of gifts. It was a spectacle of wealth and culture. As they walked towards the gate, Victor pulled Philip aside behind one of the support pillars. "Philip, listen to me," Victor whispered urgently. "It's not too late. You can change your mind. I don't trust Nicole at all. I've seen the way she looks at people. She looks down on people like me who are not billionaires. She's very ambitious and cunning. Don't be fooled by her calmness and beauty. You don't see it because you're always traveling, and when you are here, you are blinded by lust." Philip's face turned red with anger. He shoved Victor's hand off his shoulder. "How many times do I have to tell you? I am not changing my mind. I don't want to hear another word of this rubbish again. Nonsense. You are my best friend. You should be happy for me, not poisoning my mind on my wedding day," he snapped. Victor sighed, raising his hands in surrender. "Okay, Philip, okay. I just wanted you to be sure." He realized he couldn't change his friend's mind. They continued their journey, and the wedding proceeded. It was the event of the decade. Nicole was married to Philip in a grand celebration at the Transcorp Hilton. The ballroom transformed into a wonderland of white roses and crystals. The hall was filled with the creme de la creme of society, senators, emirs, business tycoons. There was dancing, laughter, and an abundance of food, mountains of jollof rice, platters of seafood, and expensive champagne flowing like water. As the festivities went on, people admired the happy couple. Nicole, in her custom-made designer dress from Paris, looked like a queen, regal and untouchable. Philip, in his tuxedo, couldn't take his eyes off her. "Look at them," whispered one of the ladies, sipping her champagne. "They are perfect together." "Yes," another replied, though her tone was envious. "I hope they have a happy life. She has secured the bag." After the celebrations, Nicole moved into her beautiful new mansion with Philip. The house was massive, a palace of marble and glass. "Nicole, welcome to our home," Philip said warmly, carrying her over the threshold. "I hope you will be happy here. Everything I have is yours. Nicole smiled, taking his hand. Thank you, Philip. I'm excited to start our life together. A week after their wedding, the honeymoon phase was cut short. Philip was due to leave for an international business trip to inspect his supply chains in China. He stood by the massive mahogany door where his driver waited with the engine running. He held Nicole's hands, reluctant to let go. I'll be back in 3 weeks, my love, he said, kissing her gently on the forehead. Take care of the house. Take care of yourself. Nicole nodded, smiling a perfect practiced smile. I will miss you, but I'll be here waiting. Don't worry about anything. Philip continued to run his conglomerate, traveling for a few weeks and then returning home. Their marriage seemed filled with happiness to the outside world. Whenever Philip was back, Victor would come over for dinner. They would sit in the expansive dining room, laughing and sharing stories late into the night, the perfect picture of friendship and domestic bliss. 3 months into their marriage, Nicole had exciting news. Philip, I have something to tell you, she said one evening, placing a hand on his chest. What is it? Philip asked, curiosity in his eyes, putting down his tablet. I'm pregnant, Nicole announced, her face glowing with joy. Philip was over the moon. He jumped up and hugged her tightly, spinning her around. This is wonderful news! A heir! We are going to have a baby! Before leaving for his next trip to Germany, Philip, worried about Nicole's condition, invited his mother over for dinner to share the news. Mama, Nicole is pregnant. I was hoping you could stay with her while I'm away to take care of her. I don't like her being alone in this big house. But Nicole quickly interrupted, her voice sharp. My love, we have so many domestic staff in the house who can help me. I have a cook, a cleaner, a driver. I will also hire a private nurse when the time comes. Let Mama be. She has her own estate to manage. She is an old woman who needs her rest. Philip's mother looked at him, hoping he would insist. She knew the way of young wives who wanted to hide things. But Philip, wanting to keep the peace and not stress his pregnant wife, nodded. You're right, my love, he said. Mama, enjoy your rest. The rest of the dinner was quiet and a bit tense. Philip's mother said nothing more, but she ate little. The atmosphere felt heavy with unsaid words. The next day, Philip left for his trip, leaving Nicole to manage the household. A week later, Philip's mother, unable to suppress her maternal instincts, decided to cook her special healthy vegetable soup with dried fish and spices for Nicole. She wanted her grandchild to be strong. She made sure none of her own staff interfered with her recipe to ensure purity. She prepared the soup, packaged it nicely in a cooler, and was driven to Philip's house, humming a cheerful tune, hoping to bridge the gap with her daughter-in-law. As her car pulled into the driveway and she approached the main entrance, she saw a man stepping out. Nicole was walking him out, her hand lingering on his arm. Philip's mother stopped dead in her tracks, surprised. The man was tall, handsome, and dressed in a fitted shirt, decidedly not a delivery man or a worker. Oh, Mama, Nicole exclaimed, her eyes widening in panic before she masked it. This is Ian, Philip's friend, she explained quickly, her voice pitching up slightly. He didn't know that Philip had traveled, and he wanted to tell him about a business opportunity. He just stopped by. The man, Ian, walked past Philip's mother, muttering a quick, "Good afternoon, Ma," and quickened his pace. He practically jogged to his car. As soon as he left the compound, Philip's mother turned back to Nicole, who was standing defensively at the heavy oak door. Nicole, who is this friend that I have never seen before? I know my son's circle. I know Victor. I know his partners. Who is this Ian? What is it you are not telling me? She asked, suspicion dripping from her voice. Mama, he said he's Philip's friend. Should I have told him no? I didn't know him, but who am I to say he's not Philip's friend? I was just being a polite hostess, Nicole replied, trying to stay calm, though her heart was pounding. Philip's mother frowned, looking at Nicole's growing belly, and then at the gate where the man had vanished. Okay, she said coldly. She handed the soup to the guard, not wanting to enter any more. She turned back to her car. Mama, wait now. Won't you come in? Nicole called after her, feigning politeness. But the older woman kept walking back to her car. Back at her own estate, Philip's mother couldn't shake off her worries. The intuition that had served her family for generations was screaming that something was wrong. She decided to wait for Philip's return. When Philip returned home, Nicole was overjoyed to see him, or at least she acted it. Her bump was growing, and she embraced him warmly. "Welcome home, my king," she cooed. The next thing Philip told Nicole after unpacking was that he was going to visit his mother immediately. Suddenly, Nicole clutched her stomach and started screaming in pain. "Ah, Philip, my stomach. I am not feeling well. I think it's the pregnancy. The baby," she cried, doubling over. Okay, Philip said, dropping his keys, sounding scared. "What do you need me to do? Should we go to the hospital?" "No, just take me to the bedroom, stay with me. I just need to lie down. Don't leave me," Nicole pleaded, gripping his arm tightly. Nicole was sick the whole week. Every time Philip mentioned going out or visiting his mother, a new wave of illness would strike her. Philip, the devoted husband, had to delay his departure for his next trip and stayed by her side, cancelling meetings and pampering her. After a week, as they sat together in bed in the morning, Philip looked at Nicole with concern. "Nicole, I have to leave for my business trip tomorrow. It's urgent. The shipment is stuck at the port in Lagos," he said gently. "But before I go, I will hire a private nurse to make sure you are well taken care of." As evening approached, Nicole suddenly started to feel better. She sat up, applied makeup, and ordered a heavy meal. "Oh, you look better," Philip said, surprised. "I was very worried, but don't move too much." They sat and chatted until late into the night. As Philip was about to turn off the lights, he heard the intercom buzz and a sharp knock at the main door downstairs. "Who could it be this late at night?" Philip asked, looking at Nicole. Nicole looked terrified. "Philip, don't open. What if it's armed robbers? What if it's kidnappers?" Nicole said, her voice trembling. Philip hesitated. The security in the estate was top-notch, but one never knew. Then he heard a voice shouting from outside. "Philip, it's your mother. Open for me, please." "That sounds like Mama," Philip said. Then another voice joined in. "Philip, it's us. Please open," called Victor. "Nicole, there's no way someone can pretend to be both my mother and my friend." "I'm opening the door," Philip said, walking towards the front door. "I'm coming," he called out. Philip opened the door to find his mother looking agitated and Victor looking uncomfortable. "Mama, what's happening this late at night? You're scaring me," he said. "No, don't worry, son. No one died. But I have to tell you something very important." "Please walk with me to the car," his mother replied. Nicole, standing at the top of the stairs in her silk robe, protested loudly. "Mama, what is so important that you can't say it here? You can't take Philip out this late and leave me alone in this condition." "Ah, Nicole," Philip's mother snapped, looking up at her. "Your house is full of staff. Besides, when Philip is away for months, you are always alone, aren't you? Unless you are not alone when Philip is gone." The air in the room froze. Nicole cleared her throat nervously. What are you trying to say?" she stammered. Philip interrupted, sensing the volatility. "It's okay, my love. I will quickly accompany Mama outside to hear what she has to say. I will leave Victor here with you so you are not alone." With that, Philip walked out into the cool night air with his mother, leaving Nicole and Victor standing in the foyer, staring at each other. As Philip walked his mother back to her car, she turned on him. "Philip, this time you didn't come to visit. If it weren't for Victor, who visited me earlier tonight and told me you were leaving tomorrow, I wouldn't have seen you at all," she said, sounding deeply hurt. "Mama, I didn't mean to," Philip replied, feeling guilty. "Nicole was very sick this whole time. I was coming to see you the moment I landed, but she started screaming in pain. She only got better earlier tonight. I was so scared I couldn't even think of sending someone to bring you." "Oh," his mother said sarcastically. "And she suddenly felt well because you are leaving tomorrow. The sickness vanished just as your departure date arrived." "Mama, what do you mean?" Philip asked, confused. "Now I am even more convinced to tell you what I need to tell you. Do you know an Ian?" she asked bluntly. "Which Ian?" "No, Mama, I don't know any Ian," Philip replied. "Ian, your friend. He was here at your house looking for you when you were away," she said. "No, I don't have any friend named Ian. I know all my friends," Philip insisted. "Okay," his mother began, and she told him everything. The man leaving the house, the way he ran, Nicole's frantic explanation. "Philip, Nicole lied to me, and if she lied about him being your friend, what else is she lying about?" "Mama, you worry too much. What if the man was just lost or a salesman? So now there should be no man coming to my house because you suspect Nicole," Philip said, getting defensive, though a seed of doubt was planted. "My son, listen to me for once. I know you love Nicole and she does no wrong in your eyes. But I am your mother, I love you, I would never mislead you. The guy can't be lost now. Didn't your wife say he's your friend? He came out of your door. At least even if you don't believe me, investigate this matter. Hire someone. If you don't find out anything, you won't ever hear me say a word about this again. Please, Philip, I want to see you happy and I mean well," Philip's mother said, tears welling up in her eyes. Seeing how serious this was to his mother, Philip felt conflicted. "All right, Mama. I will investigate," he agreed, mostly to appease her. He kissed her goodnight. As Philip walked back to his house, he started having doubts about Nicole. His heart felt heavy. When Philip got to his house, he found Victor still sitting in the lounge waiting for him. Victor quickly stood up. "I have to go. It's very late now," Victor said, looking anxious. "Let me walk you out," Philip offered. They walked out together. When Philip returned inside, Nicole was sitting anxiously on the sofa, biting her lip. "And what did she say? Was she talking about me?" she asked. Philip smiled, hiding his sadness and the new suspicion. "Nothing you should worry about. She was just worried that I didn't visit her. Just motherly drama." "I have to go to bed. I have an early flight tomorrow," he said, walking towards the bedroom, leaving Nicole standing there. Nicole took a deep breath of relief and followed Philip to the bedroom. Early in the morning, as Philip was dressed and saying goodbye, he dropped a bombshell. "Oh, by the way, Victor will come and help out with managing the grounds and the landscaping whenever he's free. He said he needs some extra income, my love. His business ventures aren't doing well." "But Philip," Nicole protested immediately, "we have professional gardeners. There are more people who need this job than Victor. Why don't you just hire someone random? Besides, we have a landscaping team. Victor is your friend. It's demeaning." "Don't worry about it, love. I'm just helping him out for a short while. I wanted to give him money, but he said he would rather work for it. Pride, you know? You won't even know he's here," Philip insisted. As Philip left, he noted how reluctant she was to have Victor around. He started doubting Nicole seriously now, but he left for work anyway. Victor started frequenting the house, supervising the garden work, trimming hedges that didn't need trimming. He had a good relationship with the staff who served him lunch. Sometimes he would sit with them and eat together, playing the humble man. When he finished eating, he would take the tray and dishes back to the kitchen himself. One day, on his day off from his own failing ventures, Victor decided to go to Philip's house. He went to the maintenance shed, took his tools, and started working. To his surprise, no maid came to bring him lunch. The house was quiet. Feeling hungry, he decided to look for food. As usual, he used the back door that led to the kitchen. He got inside and looked around but found no staff. As he turned back to leave, thinking he would eat when he got home, he heard voices laughing in the formal living room. He walked out to go back to his garden work but paused, realizing he heard a male voice. It wasn't Philip's baritone. Thinking Philip might be back early, Victor turned back to the kitchen and started walking stealthily to the living room. Before he stepped in, he heard Nicole's voice. "Oh, Ian, our child will be due soon. I just worry because you won't raise him. But he will have a good life. Philip's businesses have grown so big and our child will inherit them along with the other children we will have," Nicole said, laughing softly. Ian replied, rubbing Nicole's bump. "But Nicole, I am tired of this sneaking around, coming at night and leaving at dawn, dodging that old witch of a mother. I want you all to myself." "No, Ian, listen. I am doing this for us. Philip is just the bank." Nicole didn't finish talking, seeing Victor standing in front of them, his mouth agape. Ian jumped back from Nicole as if burned. Nicole stood up quickly, knocking over a vase. "Oh, Victor, how long have you been standing there?" she asked, her voice shaking uncontrollably. "Long enough. I knew it. I told Philip not to trust you, so the rumor was true. This fool is the father of your child," Victor said, his face twisting in rage. He rushed towards Ian, who, being a coward, quickly ran out of the sliding glass doors. Victor ran after him. Nicole screamed, "Victor, leave him and come back here, please!" The commotion made the staff, who were in the staff quarters, come out to see what was happening. They were shocked to see Victor running after a man through the ornate gardens. The staff stood there stunned, but when they heard Nicole screaming Victor's name, they retreated to their quarters, as they had been instructed to stay inside and had been told it was their day off. Victor couldn't catch Ian, who vaulted the fence and disappeared. Victor came back panting, pointing a dirty finger at Nicole. You witch!" he shouted. Nicole tried to hush Victor and pulled him inside the living room, closing the curtains. "Victor, please listen to me. I beg you, don't tell Philip about what you saw and heard. Please, I can give you whatever you want. If it's money you want, I have plenty of it. Philip gives me an allowance that you can't imagine." "No. Philip must hear about this. Actually, the whole city must know about this. My friend is out there working hard so that you can live a luxurious life, and for what? For him to raise a child that's not his," Victor fumed, pacing around the expensive Persian rug. "Victor, think about it," Nicole said, changing her tactic. She sat down, looking composed. "There is more wealth in this house that can feed the entire city, but look at you. You have a billionaire friend, but you are only his charity case. You are wearing faded jeans while he wears Armani. If Philip considered you a friend, wouldn't he have brought you into the company board so that you could make money like him? You're just his lapdog, his gatekeeper." Victor kept quiet for a while, looking confused. The words hit a sore spot. Nicole leaned closer to him, holding his chin. "Think about it, Victor. He doesn't care about you. He uses you to guard his house while he travels the world." Victor, feeling the tender touch of Nicole's soft hands, looked into her eyes. The anger began to melt into something else, desire and greed. "Nicole, you are right. Philip told me to come here to watch over you. That day when his mother came at night, he suspected you. Actually, Philip thinks I'm his gatekeeper. He takes me for granted," Victor said, bitterness seeping into his voice. "You see, he has friends in high places, but he calls you a friend while you remain struggling," Nicole added, stroking his arm. "So what are you going to offer me so that I keep quiet?" Victor asked, his voice low. "Name your price," Nicole replied. Victor looked her up and down. He told her that besides money, he wanted her too. He had always envied Philip's possession of her. "But Victor," Nicole protested, shocked, "I am heavily pregnant. What can I possibly give you?" Victor replied with a sneer. "What were you giving Ian?" "He was only coming to keep me company and the baby. I get so lonely here," Nicole lied. "All right. From now on I will keep you company until you give birth, and you will be mine after birth. And I want a share of the allowance," Victor demanded. And so, a new secret affair between Victor and Nicole began. A pact sealed in betrayal. Exactly 7 months after their marriage, Nicole gave birth. Philip was not around for the birth, as he had expected the baby to come later. However, Philip's mother was there during the birth at the private hospital in Vuz. She watched the delivery like a hawk. She pulled the doctor aside afterwards. "Doctor, tell me the truth. Is this child premature? He looks fully formed," she asked. The doctor, a family friend, hesitated but spoke the truth. "The child was born at the right time, Ma. In fact, a few weeks after 9 months. He's full term." "Oh, God," Philip's mother whispered. She started thinking to herself that either the rumor was correct, or Philip and Nicole had conceived before marriage. She was no longer sure. She sent one of her assistants to take the news of the child's birth to Philip, who was inspecting shipments at the seaport in Lagos. Philip flew back after 3 days and immediately entered the nursery where Nicole was lying with the baby. He rushed in excitedly, smelling of the airport and excitement. "Where is he? Where is my son?" Philip asked eagerly. Nicole, holding the baby, opened the expensive blanket, revealing a cute baby boy cooing. "Here he is, Philip. He came early. Our son came early." Philip held the boy and shed a tear of joy. He looked at the baby's face, trying to see himself, but the baby was too young. He was over the moon and told Nicole he would be staying for a month or so. Nicole was very happy too, though nervous. Everyone was delighted for the baby. Among the visitors were Evelyn and Victor. During one of Victor's visits, he and Philip stepped aside to talk on the terrace. "Victor, I need to ask you something," Philip began, looking serious. "You've been around while I travel. Have you noticed anything unusual with Nicole? My mother is still suspicious." Victor smiled reassuringly, placing a hand on Philip's shoulder, the hand of a traitor. "Philip, your wife is a very faithful woman. You should never suspect such a decent woman. She sits alone waiting for you to come back home. Trust me, I have been watching. There's nothing to worry about." Philip sighed with relief. "Thank you, Victor. Your words mean a lot to me. I guess I have been letting other people's doubts get to me." "Don't let them," Victor advised. "Nicole loves you. She has been nothing but loyal. Focus on your happiness and the beautiful family you have." During Philip's stay, he also went to visit his mother. They sat together in her large, quiet living room. "And how are Nicole and her son doing?" his mother asked pointedly. "They are fine, Mama." "Why do you say her son? Is he not my son too?" Philip asked, frowning. "My son, you do realize you have only been married to Nicole for 7 months, right?" And the doctor said. She paused, gauging his reaction. "Mama, stop this now. I know where this is going. Nicole already told me the baby came early," Philip replied, frustration rising in his voice. "Is that right? How early?" "He is 4 kilograms, Philip. Premature babies are tiny," she pressed. "I never thought I would say this, but Philip, wake up, my son." "No, Mother. You told me you would stop this if I didn't find proof against Nicole. You made me doubt my wife. I feel so guilty for even suspecting a pregnant woman of cheating. I have to go," Philip said angrily, standing up to leave. His mother felt helpless. She believed that Nicole's child was not her son's, but didn't know how to prove it to Philip without a DNA test, which he would never agree to. She watched him walk away, her heart heavy with worry and doubt. The boy was named Leo. Within a few months, he was growing big and strong. Philip returned to his conglomerate, continuing business as usual. 8 months later, disaster struck. While Philip was being driven in his luxury SUV back home at night from a late meeting, a heavy downpour and thunderstorm struck Abuja. The rain was torrential, turning the roads into rivers. The driver lost control. The SUV skidded off the wet road, spun twice, and fell into a deep drainage ditch. Philip was thrown forward, hitting his head violently against the dashboard and the reinforced window. He lost consciousness instantly. His security detail in the follow-up car rushed to help him, but saw no blood. They carried him to a nearby private clinic in the outskirts to find a doctor, but they struggled because the vehicle was stuck, and finding help in the storm at night was difficult. After a long search, they finally found a local doctor. They told the doctor that Philip's family were billionaires and would greatly compensate him if he helped. Philip's staff managed to reach his family to announce the news. His mother and Nicole came with another convoy, sirens blaring, and found Philip still unconscious. They thanked the local doctor and gave him a generous token of appreciation, but told him they knew a better specialist in the city center. They left with Philip and called for the top neurologist in Abuja. The specialist came to the mansion, which had been turned into a makeshift hospital room. He told them that the local doctor's first aid helped a lot because Philip had internal bleeding which led to a concussion. "Doctor, please, will my son be all right?" Philip's mother asked with worry in her voice. "Yes, he will be fine, but the head trauma was severe," the doctor warned. After a week, Philip woke up sitting up and screaming, "Nicole, where are you? Nicole, Nicole, why is it so dark?" Nicole and his mother rushed to the master bedroom. "Philip, can't you see me? The lights are on," his mother asked, panicking. "No, I can't. It's pitch black. Where are my wife and son?" Philip asked, distressed, his hands flailing in front of him. "We are here," Nicole replied, trying to calm him. "Don't worry, son. The doctor is coming," Philip's mother said, rushing out to send someone for the specialist. The doctor came and tested Philip. He shone lights in his eyes, but there was no reaction. He explained that Philip was blind due to the brain damage from hitting his head. Cortical blindness. He also said the blindness could be permanent or temporary. The doctor further explained that he needed certain rare neuroregenerative medicines, which he didn't have in stock in Nigeria. "Don't worry, doctor. I can import the medicine you need. I have contacts in Germany and India. Just tell me what you need," Philip said, panicking and frustrated by his new condition. Money is not an object. As the head injuries slowly healed, Philip's world became one of shadows and sounds. He got used to walking around the massive house using a walking stick. He even arranged for a carpenter to customize a bed for him to get off without falling. Victor constantly visited the house, and most of the time Philip would sit in his new bedroom where the staff helped him with his needs, feeding him and bathing him. But blindness brings a different kind of sight. When the eyes are closed, the ears open wide. While Philip was still battling with his eyesight, he noticed that sometimes a whole day would pass without hearing Nicole's voice around the house. One day he asked the maid who brought him his food, "Have you seen my wife? Is she okay?" "Yes, sir," the maid replied, her voice hesitant. "I saw Madam with Victor in the garden." "Is Victor here?" Philip asked, confused. "He didn't come to say hello to me." "Yes, sir. He comes here every day," the maid said. This left Philip puzzled and wondering why his friend Victor would come to his house and leave without greeting him. While Philip waited for his imported medicine to arrive, he often suffered severe headaches. It took months for his medicine to clear customs and arrive. He started using it. One night, feeling thirsty and noticing the maid had forgotten to leave him water, he decided to try and be independent. He walked out of his room to fetch some water from the kitchen dispenser. As he passed the master bedroom, which he no longer slept in, he heard a man's voice coming from inside. He froze. He leaned against the door to listen but only heard laughter. Philip opened the door. The laughter stopped immediately. "Philip, my love, what do you want this late at night?" Nicole asked, sounding startled. "I heard voices. Who are you with, Nicole?" Philip asked, his unseeing eyes staring straight ahead. Nicole replied quickly, "Oh, I was just playing with Leo. He doesn't want to sleep tonight. He was making funny noises." She said this while gesturing frantically to Victor to hide in the bathroom. Victor, moving from the bed, pulled Nicole back, and she told Philip to go to his room because she was sleeping. Philip agreed and left, but he was certain the voice he heard was a man's, a deep baritone, not a baby's coo. He waited a bit at the door, listening. Again he heard laughter and then Nicole calling out, "Stop being silly, Victor." Philip stood outside the door, his body sliding down as he leaned against it. The realization hit him like a physical blow. After a while he got up, his thirst gone, replaced by a bitter taste in his mouth, and went back to his bedroom. He sat there, not believing what he had heard. Could this be Victor? Victor, my friend, Philip thought. He wept. God, I wish I could see. Just for 1 minute. As days went by, Philip felt better physically but emotionally distraught. He noticed that Nicole didn't seem to love him anymore. She was hardly around the house, and wherever she was, he heard her and Victor talking in the garden, their voices low and intimate. One day, Philip's mother visited. "Mama, Victor comes to the house daily. Is he not working anymore?" Philip asked. "Oh, wasn't it you? I thought you gave Victor some millions to start a business." "Victor is now a businessman," she said the word with disdain. "He has a small poultry farm and an old van. But when your eyesight returns, you will see Victor's dressing. He wears the finest designer clothes, Gucci, Fendi. And the day Victor quit his job, I heard he fought with his boss and headbutted him. I am shocked that our very own Victor could do such a thing," his mother said. Philip replied, "Well, I wouldn't put it past him. He's capable of more than that." His mother was left speechless as Philip stood to stretch his legs. The puzzle pieces were coming together. 6 months after the accident, the miracle happened. Philip woke up one morning with his sight completely restored. The medicine had worked. He sat up in bed, the room sharp and clear in the morning light. The dust motes dancing in the sunbeam looked like diamonds. He shouted in happiness, "I can see! Oh my God, I can see! Nicole! Nicole!" Filled with joy and a desire to share the miracle, he ran to the master bedroom, bursting through the door. He found a sight that froze the blood in his veins. Nicole was sleeping, her body entangled with Victor's. They were cuddling as if they were the married couple, Victor's arm thrown possessively over her waist. Nicole woke up, startled by Philip barging in. She quickly sat up, trying to block his view of the bed, but it was too late, or so Philip thought. "Oh, my love, why are you up so early?" she asked, her voice still sleepy but edged with panic as she realized Victor was exposed. Philip stood there, his mind racing at 1,000,000 miles an hour. The urge to scream, to drag Victor out of the bed and beat him to a pulp was overwhelming. His fists clenched at his sides, his knuckles turning white. He wanted to kill them both. But then, a cold, calculating thought took over. If he revealed he could see now, they might lie their way out of it. They might say Victor was just comforting her, or worse, they might kill him to keep the secret and run away with his money. He needed to know the full extent of their betrayal. He needed to destroy them completely. Philip's eyes glazed over, mimicking the vacant, unfocused stare he had worn for months. It was the hardest acting performance of his life. His voice, low and filled with a feigned disappointment, said, "I am very hungry. I just need breakfast. I got lost on the way to the kitchen. Everything is still so dark." Nicole let out a breath she didn't know she was holding. She glanced back at Victor, who was still fast asleep, oblivious to the danger that had just stood over him. "Just wait a bit until the staff are done. They will bring you breakfast. I want to feed Leo. It's almost his milk time," Nicole replied, her tone dismissive. She then lay back down, pulling the duvet over Victor. Philip stood there for a second longer, watching the woman he loved betray him with his best friend. He turned slowly, tapping his cane against the floor, tap, 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 and walked out. He went back to his room, closed the door, and wept silent tears of rage. From that moment, Philip continued to pretend he was blind, but his eyes were wide open. He realized that his domestic staff were very loyal to Nicole and Victor, or perhaps they were paid off. Often Philip would sit in the living room, his eyes hidden behind dark glasses, while Nicole and Victor were together on the sofa, kissing and whispering right in front of him. The staff would walk by, serve them tea, and not say a word to Philip. None of them ever bothered to inform him of what was happening in his own home. This conspiracy of silence left him feeling isolated and betrayed by everyone he paid to protect him. One day, as Philip passed his master bedroom, tapping his cane loudly to announce his presence, he heard a different voice. He paused to listen and heard Nicole talking to Leo. "Oh, my cute boy, Daddy is here. Go to Daddy," Nicole said, while the boy giggled. Philip entered the room as usual, his face a mask of neutrality, but his eyes took in the scene instantly. It wasn't Victor playing with Leo. It was Ian, the man his mother had warned him about. "My love, I was just here to check on you. I'm going to take a walk," Philip said quietly, his heart hammering against his ribs. Nicole looked up, unbothered. "Okay," she said. As he closed the door, he heard Nicole and Ian laughing uncontrollably, mocking the blind fool. "He suspects nothing," Ian laughed. Philip stormed out of the house, unable to breathe. The betrayal wasn't just a double life, it was a revolving door of men, all while he lay helpless in the next room. As soon as he got outside the high gates of his mansion, he stopped, placing his hands on his knees, taking deep breaths to calm himself. Still carrying his stick and pretending to be blind, he walked down the manicured street of their gated community, his mind plotting his next move. "Philip? Philip, wait." It was Evelyn calling out to him. He recognized her voice instantly. It was the only honest thing he had heard in months. "Why are you walking alone? Can you manage by yourself?" she asked, catching up to him, her breath coming in short gasps. "I can walk by myself," Philip replied, though his voice lacked its usual bite. "Am I not your friend?" Evelyn insisted, falling into step beside him. "You shouldn't be out here alone. The cars won't see you." "Okay, I know. I am Nicole's friend too, but we've known each other since childhood. Let me take you wherever you need to go," Evelyn offered, gently taking his arm. Philip allowed Evelyn to accompany him to his mother's estate. He looked at her sideways from behind his glasses as they walked. She wasn't as flashy as Nicole, but there was a grace and sincerity in her features that he had been too blind, even when he had sight, to see. She walked with him not out of duty, but out of love.
His mother was very happy to see him with Evelyn. "Oh, Evelyn, my daughter, you are here. You no longer visit me these days. Have you met a suitor?" she asked, hopeful. "No, Mama, I am just busy. Bye, Mama, I was just accompanying Philip here," Evelyn replied before leaving. Philip sat down, and his mother could see he was not okay. He looked like a man carrying the weight of the world. Philip told his mother that he was meeting someone he couldn't meet at his house, a private investigator and his lawyer, and asked if he could have the meeting there. His mother agreed and gave him his privacy, sensing the storm that was brewing. Philip began to pull the strings. He was a businessman after all, and he knew how to destroy competition. He used his connections to silently sabotage Victor's business. He made calls to suppliers, blocking Victor's access to feed and medicine for his poultry. A few days later, back at his own house, Philip sat in his study, the door slightly ajar, listening. He heard Victor storming into the hallway, talking to Nicole. "Nicole, things are bad. My chickens are all dead due to a sudden disease outbreak. I woke up today to find not even a single chicken alive. You have to give me more money so I can buy more stock. I owe a few investors who have already paid for their orders." "I don't know what to do," Victor said, his voice rising in panic. Nicole told Victor to wait. Philip heard Nicole's footsteps walking out of the bedroom towards his home office. He quickly put on his dark glasses and stared blankly ahead. Nicole entered, opened the wall safe behind the painting, and rummaged through it. A moment later, she let out a frustrated noise. She returned to the master bedroom and told Victor that she couldn't find a single naira in the safe. Victor was furious. "What? What am I going to do? My business will collapse. I owe people millions for their orders, and these people will need their money back if I don't deliver. You have to help me, Nicole, or else." "Don't raise your voice, Philip will hear you," Nicole cautioned, closing the bedroom door. "And do what, huh? The fool cannot even see. Give me the money, Nicole, or I will tell Philip that Leo is not his. You don't know me, Nicole. You will go back to the gutter where you belong," Victor threatened. Nicole, not knowing what to say, responded, "Victor, calm down. I will make a plan, okay? I will ask Philip for money directly." "You better," Victor said, and stormed out of the bedroom. Philip smiled a cold, hard smile. The rats were beginning to turn on each other. The next phase of his plan involved the staff. He secretly paid them off and gave them all a mandatory 2-week leave, instructing them to leave immediately without informing Nicole. "Go," he told them. "If anyone asks, I sent you." The next morning, Nicole rushed to Philip's bedroom. "My love, I have been sitting the whole day waiting for the staff to serve breakfast. I went to check in their quarters, and there was no one there." "Oh?" Philip asked, feigning ignorance. "And what do you think happened to them?" Nicole replied, "I don't know. Maybe you should go look for them since you are the one who hired them and know their whereabouts." Philip replied calmly, tapping his fingers on his armrest. "I am just a blind man who cannot do much. Perhaps they are tired." Nicole left the room frustrated, thinking Philip knew nothing about the situation. She went to the kitchen to cook, but the pantry was strangely empty. Philip had ensured that food supplies were not restocked. Nicole was not used to chores anymore. She burned the eggs, broke a fingernail, and when she tried to clean, Leo started crying. With no nanny to babysit, Nicole felt the walls closing in. The day went by, and Philip left the house for a few hours with his driver, returning in the evening, well-fed and calm. Nicole went to bed hungry and exhausted that day. The following day at dusk, Victor came, looking desperate. He needed money. Nicole opened the door and whispered, "You aren't supposed to come today. What are you doing here? Come, let's talk upstairs." They passed Philip, who was sitting in the living room, listening to the news on the TV. They assumed he was asleep or zoned out. They went upstairs to the master bedroom. Philip waited until they were settled. Then he picked up his phone and sent a single text message to Ian from a burner phone he had acquired, posing as Nicole. "Come now, I have the money. Victor is gone, hurry." Philip sat there in the dark living room, listening to the silence of the house, waiting for the explosion. As soon as Philip left the house to visit his mother, Ian arrived. He went straight upstairs to find Nicole. When Ian entered the bedroom, expecting a payday, he found Nicole in a compromising position with Victor. Ian, fuming with jealousy and betrayal, demanded, "Nicole, what is he doing here? Did you call me for this? You are playing both of us." He jumped towards Victor, who was lying on the bed. They started fighting instantly. "So you chased me out of the house that day because you two were together. Is the child even mine?" Ian shouted, throwing a punch that connected with Victor's jaw. Nicole screamed, "Ian, leave him, leave him!" She tried to pull Ian off Victor, but Ian, blinded by rage, pushed her hard. She hit the wall and slid down, feeling paralyzed for a few minutes. Nicole watched helplessly as Ian pulled Victor from the bed and the fight moved to the balcony. Victor, fighting for his life, regained some strength and started hitting Ian back. Nicole, leaping from the bedroom, shouted, "Stop it! Somebody help me!" Ian pinned Victor against the balcony rails. The metal groaned under their weight. Nicole jumped in, trying to pull them apart, but Victor fought back wildly. In the chaos, a shove went wrong. Ian lost his footing, tipped over the railing, and fell from the balcony to the paved ground in the front yard with a sickening thud. Nicole and Victor looked down in horror. At that exact moment, the front gates opened. A group of people was rushing towards Ian, who lay motionless in a pool of blood. It was perfect timing. Philip had arranged for his mother, 2 police officers, Ian's family, Victor's family, Nicole's family, and a few neighbors to come for a dinner party he was supposedly hosting to celebrate his health. Ian's family knelt next to his body, screaming in agony, "My son! They have killed my son!" Philip walked out of the house, tapping his stick. He stopped near the body, looking around with unseeing eyes, though he saw everything. "What is going on? Can somebody explain to me what's happening? I hear screaming. Where is my wife? Nicole, my love, where are you?" Nicole and Victor stood upstairs, frozen in shock, illuminated by the outdoor security lights like actors on a stage. Everyone looked up at them, their mouths wide open. The 2 officers rushed upstairs, weapons drawn, and handcuffed Nicole and Victor, telling them they were under arrest for murder. The yard was bustling with neighbors rushing in and out, calling others to come and see the scene. The gossip spread like wildfire. Nicole was having an affair with many men, but she and Victor planned to get rid of the man lying there, someone said. "Oh, poor Philip, with his blindness. We told him, but he never listened." "Look where we are today," another neighbor added. After the police took everyone's statement, most claimed they saw Nicole and Victor pushing Ian from the balcony. The angle made it look deliberate. However, Nicole's family tried to defend her. "We were rushing from the gates when we saw the 3 on the balcony. But we couldn't tell exactly what was happening," Nicole's mother sobbed. "I know my daughter is not capable of this. She can't even hurt a fly." "Oh, but she can bring men to my son's house," Philip's mother retorted, her voice dripping with disdain. "If your daughter can do this to my son who always took good care of her, she's capable of worse. Officer, arrest these 2. We all saw what happened as we entered this yard. You saw it too." Philip's mother insisted, and the police had no choice. With the body, the witnesses, and the apparent motive, the case seemed airtight.
It was a long night, but it eventually passed. Philip's mother and Evelyn stayed behind to comfort him. The next day, as Evelyn helped make breakfast in the quiet kitchen, Philip's mother smiled at her son. "My son, you see how Evelyn takes good care of you? Why did you not marry her instead? I don't even want to say her name." Philip turned to his mother, slowly removing his dark glasses for the first time in front of them. His eyes were clear, sharp, and focused. "Mom, I am sorry for not listening to you. Forgive me, Mother. I should have listened." His mother gasped, dropping her spoon. She realized he was looking directly at her. "Philip, you can see?" "Yes, Mama. I have been able to see for a while now. I had to see the truth with my own eyes." "Don't worry," she replied, recovering from her shock and glancing at Evelyn, who was smiling through tears. "You still have a chance to make things right." A month later, Philip went to the maximum security prison in Coogee to visit Nicole. She looked terrible. Her hair was unkempt and she had lost weight. Her beauty had faded under the harsh fluorescent lights of the prison. She was so happy to see him, thinking he was her savior. She asked why he couldn't help her with her case and why he hadn't visited her earlier. "Philip, my love, please help me. I am innocent, Nicole cried out, clutching the glass partition. Get me a lawyer, get me out of here. Philip leaned forward, his face cold and hard as stone. Innocent of what exactly? Who is the fool now? You brought men to my house, called me names and gave them my money, my hard-earned money. You used my house, my bedroom, while I lay there helpless. Nicole cried out, I am sorry, Philip. I was lonely and you would travel for months. It was a mistake. Stop lying, Nicole. I know Leo is not mine. I stayed faithful to you and was willing to do everything for you, Philip said, his voice rising. He stood up to leave. Nicole shouted, desperate, Philip, please, where is Leo? Don't worry about Leo. He is Ian's son. He will come to visit you in jail when he is old enough. I'm not sure if he is with his father's parents or your parents, but one of them took him that day. Now allow me to go see your boyfriend. You look pale, and your hair is dirty. By the way, I will make sure you rot in here. Nicole was stunned. She shouted as Philip was walking away, navigating the room without his cane, moving with confidence. Philip, how do you know I look pale? Philip, you can see. You could always see. Nicole screamed as the guards dragged her back to her cell, the realization crushing her. Philip could see, and he had orchestrated everything. Philip then visited Victor in the men's wing. Ah, Victor, my friend, he laughed scornfully as he sat down. It is me, the blind fool. Let me tell you a story. Philip started recounting how he saw everything that morning. He explained how he poisoned the chickens to create financial pressure, how he emptied the safe, how he fired the staff to isolate them, and how he sent the text message that brought Ian to the house at the exact moment the guests arrived. Oh, Victor, I didn't think you would take it that far, Philip mocked. I only wanted our families to find all of you in my house with that woman, Nicole. But you robbed the boy of a father. You killed your competition. Oh, poor child. Philip left the visitation room laughing, his laughter echoing through the prison walls while Victor stared at him, speechless and broken, realizing he had been played by the man he thought was a fool. After a few weeks, Philip publicly announced that his sight was miraculously restored. He explained to his mother and Evelyn that he had pretended to be blind for a while to uncover the truth, though he spared them the darker details of his manipulation. His mother shook her head, feeling sorry for the pain he had endured, but proud of his strength. 2 years later, Philip married Evelyn in a beautiful private ceremony. He delegated his day-to-day business operations and focused on his investments from home, cherishing the peace and loyalty he had finally found. They lived happily, surrounded by children who were truly his, in a home where no secrets hid in the shadows.